Okay, let me start with these questions. Is metta an mundane level, on mundane level that one can think about it and have it? Yes, metta is mundane level. You can think about it, cultivate thought, and you can have it. Can one have metta without removing ill will? Not at all. You have to remove ill will at that time when you have metta. Both you cannot have together. Should metta generate a universal loving feeling, or should one focus metta on a specific person? As I said, if you focus your mind on specific person, then you would cultivate not real metta but attachment. And therefore, you got to develop metta in your mind very deeply and completely charge the mind with metta. And with that space, you can focus on someone. But if you start with somebody and just try to practice metta on that person from the beginning, it won't work. You will, as I said, the nearest enemy of metta is greed, attachment, clinging, lust. Nearest enemy. Because it is so sweet, you love somebody so passionately. And if you try to cultivate metta to that person, you would not have metta. You really will have a passionate attachment. And yet, it gives you a feeling of very good feeling for that person. That's not metta. That is the nearest, strongest enemy of metta. Because metta is much greater than this attachment or lust. Farthest enemy of metta is ill will, anger. So you can see the enemy coming. But when the enemy is working within, you don't know. It can deceive you. And therefore start with universal loving friendliness and then focus on someone. What is the correlations of stream entry, anagami, etc. with the attainment of each jhana? Well, each jhana can be used to attain stream entry, once returner, never returner, and arahanthood. So there are according to Abhidhamma, 5 jhanas become 40 jhanas. So 5 jhanas become actually 20, and then its result 20, altogether 40. And altogether, I think, I don't remember exactly, 20, yes, you have 40. The other one is, I don't have confidence whether I actually felt metta or not. This is on Wednesday. The question comes from the same person. Isn't this interesting that I do not know what metta feels like? Is the feeling of metta subjective or objective? Should my metta feeling same as Bhante's? Is there something called metta feeling? When I remove dusts, I become mindful. What should I remove to reach at metta? Why am I tearful every time metta like feeling waves in? Does that mean I haven't been removed from sensual desires? I think you gave answers to your question in some places. I don't have confidence whether I actually felt metta or not. Actually, if the metta is not strong enough, you may not have confidence. When it is very strong, you feel confidence that you have metta. Isn't this interesting that I do not know what metta feels like? If you do not know what metta feels like, it is difficult to inculcate that feeling in your mind. When you have metta, you at least feel relaxed. You feel that you are a part of all other living beings. You are not special. You feel they are your friends. Do you feel friendliness to somebody? Do you have a friend? I'm asking this gentleman who wrote. Just think that you have a friend. I think if you have a friend, you feel that you are friendly. I don't think there can be any human being on earth who doesn't have a friend. If he doesn't have any friend, he would be a real rock. I remember once a Japanese came to Washington when we were there. He came from Hawaii. And he said he didn't have a place to go, he didn't have any money. And then we had a Japanese monk with us. He asked him, how long you have lived there? He said, 30 or 40, 35 years. Then he asked him, you have lived there for 35 years and you don't have one single friend? Get out. Don't come here. You must be such a mean person not to have one friend for 35 years. That was his response. So it is very harsh on one side, but on the other, he taught him a very good lesson. So you certainly might have a friend. So if you have a friend, you look at your mind and try to see the feeling, feel the feeling for your friend. That feeling is called friendliness. If you have not identified it, that is how you have to identify it. You have a cat. You are very friendly to the cat. You have a dog. Sometimes you have pig as your friend. People domesticate pigs. Last night you said that self-love is necessary to activate before one attains joy. Can you speak on how one attains the necessary levels of self-love in order to bring true joy and happiness into our lives? It is the necessary level of self-love in order to bring true joy and happiness into our daily life. I cannot give you a degree in measurement, this many degrees of love you must have, this much temperature you have to have, and so forth. It is not possible to give you an exact, specific degree of love, how much you should cultivate for you to have your daily, make your daily life happy. However, I like to mention that you should start your day every day with loving, friendly thoughts for yourself and for others, and relax your mind, relax your body, and start your day's work. And every so often you bring your attention to your loving, friendly thoughts. When you go to bed at night, go to bed with the loving, friendly thought. Practice metta when you go to bed. That is also a very effective moment to practice metta, because night would be a very peaceful night. In the morning, before you jump out of your bed, as soon as you open your eyes, when you are awake, before you get out of your bed, stay in bed, relaxing your body and mind and practicing metta. And if you do morning meditation, also do some metta before you do other kind of meditation. This way you will experience a great deal of relaxed feeling. You may not get jhanic joy in these situations. You have to have a kind of joy you have in jhanic state is very powerful, that would lead to happiness and concentration. I don't think you want that kind of concentration when you are driving, so that you would not be able to do your driving, although you need certain amount of concentration. So loving, friendly thought to be kept alive in your mind all the time. Then you will see how effective it is. I can see some people, I think I mentioned here several times in the past. Once I went to Poland, and this gentleman was there at that time. And the lady who invited me asked me whether I teach metta meditation. I said yes. Then she said, I hate metta. So it is so difficult for some people to practice. I think you know that lady. So sometimes it is difficult if you have not done it. But if you do it very often, you find it very beneficial. You speak about restlessness and worry related to unmindful actions in the past. I learned a lot of things from these retreat questions. Not only this, every retreat. People are very good. They think every possible aspect of something when you say. So this person asked, worry related to unmindful actions in the past. Is worry about things in the future because of the past too? Is that why you did not speak about worry regarding the future? You see, it is not because of the past worries you will have future worries. Sometimes that also is possible. You have past worries and that build up, and as a habit you might enjoy worrying about the future. So future worries actually would be worrying about how am I going to do such and such a work? Would I be successful? How am I going to talk to so and so? If I don't make that telephone call, I don't know how that person is going to, what that person is going to think about me. If I don't write that letter right now, I don't know what's I'm going to cook today, which restaurant I'm going to eat. That kind of things, You can think of millions of such things to worry about the future. They are not, they may have some relationship with the previous worries. Because in the past, if you did not make the telephone call at right moment, at right time to the person, you would get scolding, or you would get insulted, you would get reprimanded and so forth. And you may remember that. And you may be worrying now, if I don't make this call to so-and-so, that person also may react, may scold me, insult me, reprimand me, and so forth. So perhaps the previous worries may have some relationship with the future worries. You have to find out all these things. It is endless thing. I have read that in addition to a point of white light, there are other signs of causing concentration, arousing concentration, such as lighting at the feelings, soft feeling maybe, feeling of I see, a feeling of a cobweb at the nose, as nose and face and others. Would you please discuss this? Yes, there are certain other signs also, Sometimes in order to make things simple and easy for people to practice, I don't mention everything. When I mention everything, people can get confused. They might wonder which of these signs is suitable for me, which would be more convenient, and so forth and so on. So, in order to avoid a lot of confusions, I stayed with one sign. Surely there are various other possible signs, like cobweb or like a piece of cotton, rubbing on your nose tip. One time I mentioned even like a peg. So somebody sent by mail a peg, big peg by mail, asking me, is it the kind of peg you think about that will, push through my nose? Asking me, some kind of very fine sensation in the nasal area you may feel, or even in the forehead. Surely there are some more than one signs. Another question, is piti a physical sensation? Can excitement be a part of it? No, excitement cannot be part of piti. It is not physical either. It eventually spread to the body, but it starts in our mind. And as it increases, it will become, it will spread all over our body. Then it becomes, primarily it is mental, secondarily it is physical. However, it is not any kind of excitement like you normally experience excitement. This is in meditative situation, everything, especially peace arises, what you call piti or joy or rapture arises as the body and mind become calm and relaxed. And the piti should be a very calming mental and physical experience. Because when piti increases, that makes the body and mind more calm, more peaceful, leading to happiness, which is even more peaceful and quiet, tranquilizing. And that leads to concentration. In order to gain concentration, all these have to be very mellow, quietening, peaceful, relaxing, soft, gentle experience. If it is an excitement, none of these things can happen. No concentration, no happiness can arise. Would you please address these matters? Bare attention. Bare attention is a very common word used among meditators, especially mindful meditators. I sometimes don't use the word, not sometimes, always, I don't use that word, bare attention. Not I have anything against it, but I feel bare attention also has a very sort of uninterested attention. You know, he barely touched the subject. You see, he barely feels anything. You know, it can be something close to barely. To avoid that kind of unnecessary confusion, I prefer using the word pure attention, undivided attention, total attention, mindful attention, words like this. They have very powerful meaning and also a more traditional, more rich meaning. When we say mindful attention, it is not just bare attention. Mindful attention is what is called yoniso manasikara, the word the Buddha used. Buddha always used very precise words to give the precise meaning, to strike the meaning right into the heart, to drive the meaning so deep into the heart. And total mind attention, not half-assed attention, but complete attention, undivided attention. Or I would say pure attention. So that is absolutely necessary for cultivating insight and gaining concentration. Another part of the question is that I have asked to speak about is using the breath or another object as Anapanasati Sutta. In Anapanasati Sutta, the meditators are advised to use only the breath all through. 16 stages of breathing divided into 4 categories called tetrads. Each category has 4 steps. And it is very profound meditation subject, and it has everything that you find in Mahasatipatthana Sutta in a very subtle way. But some very famous meditation teachers use only that one. That also is a very powerful subject. Anapanasati Sutta is not another subject other than breath. It is the breath that we use in Anapanasati Sutta. Is there an equivalent in the practice of jhana to what Christian monastics have referred to as the dark night of the soul? Like John of the Cross. Dark night of the soul. It is very difficult for me to make any comparison because I have not done that kind of meditation. Therefore, very difficult to compare. Probably there may be some similarities which I don't understand. Because once you gain jhana, your mind is almost on its own. Especially in the 3rd and 4th jhanas, you even don't feel the existence of the body. But the mind is not in a sort of an abyss. It is very bright, strong, clear, sharp, focused, concentrated. When we think of any darkness, I would not say that there is anything related to darkness. Everything is very bright, very clear. And that's what that much I can say, but I cannot give you a sort of a comparison between this and Christian monastic meditative experience. Please confirm that when using metta as our primary object, we do not focus on any other anyone specifically, but rather impartially and impersonally. We begin metta meditation with very, living, lively beings, including ourselves and all other beings. Then we move on to the whole universe. And then since beings are innumerable, incalculable, all over the universe, we cannot keep a track of them. In that situation, we lose phases of beings. And then the mind becomes so tuned attuned to the metta thought, that mind would simply see a speck of beings, little specks in the space, kind of feeling. And then when it sinks, this word sinks into the thoughts, then those even those specks of beings in the universe will disappear. Then it becomes just a pure, mere thought of friendliness. And then, as the mind becomes calm, body becomes calm and relaxed, even these thoughts dissolve into feelings. And in the mind we feel, even physically we feel friendly feeling, all within us and around us. And therefore, surely at that point, there is no personality, no any being. It is really impersonal, subjective. We started with the external world, and it eventually becomes a subjective experience. From that, our mind and body becomes even deeper, even more deeply relaxed and more deeply calm and peaceful. Knowing that everything all around us, within us, everything is secure, protected, no harm, no difficulties, no problems, everything is going on smoothly. This may not happen in reality. The world will never become, without problems, without troubles. This is just naive to think the world would ever become that way. But the feeling, the thought in our mind is that everything is calm. Why? Because we do not pay attention to each and every individual's countless of beings and problems in the world. We cannot do that. Although we start with all beings and we continually think and cultivate these thoughts in our mind, and then that thought for us becomes a reality within us, and we begin to feel that. That's all. Not we imagine even for a second that the world is going to be totally free from troubles. It has never happened, it will never happen. And Buddha, knowing this, he incorporated this practice of metta. Practice of metta is not something that Buddha invented. It was all along, from time immemorial, in the heart of living beings, whether they are human or non-human. Sometimes you might feel, how about tigers, lions, all predators that kill other beings and eat? Do they have metta, you may ask? Even they have this root of metta that manifests as attachment to their own cubs and young ones. And that tendency is sublimated in human mind. Human mind also has that animal tendency, but at the same time they have the other aspect, sublimated aspect, which we call love or loving friendliness. So the root is there in all living beings. Okay, somebody asks, what is brahmacharya life? Brahmacharya life is living, abstaining from all sexual activities. Is called brahmacharya life. So I don't have to go into details. When we say in one word, abstaining from all sexual activities, you can bring the details into your mind. Okay, another question. Which of your own commentaries is most accessible? Path of Serenity and Insight is most accessible, and the other is the Jhanas, that little book, also is accessible. And the other one, the critical analysis of jhanas, is not accessible. It is printed. We got some copies and they disappeared very quickly. That is the larger book, larger than the Path of Serenity and Insight. Regarding the jhanas, these 3 books I have written on jhanas, and except the first one, the critical analysis of jhanas in Theravada Buddhist meditation, other 2 are available. Is correspondence or prose okay, or should one confine oneself to journalizing? I think this was stipulated at the very beginning of the retreat. All you can do is journalizing, nothing else. Now the retreat is over, you go ahead and write anything you want. Listening to tapes and so forth afterward. But during the retreat, we've got to confine ourselves, restrain ourselves, discipline our mind to and focus on the practice. Another question. Are you using the Visuddhimagga or Sutta Pitaka? Are there more than 2 that address jhana directly? Among secondary sources, Visuddhimagga is the best, that deals with jhana in the greatest detail. Other secondary sources, commentaries, Majjhima Nikaya commentary, Digha Nikaya commentary, wherever the discourses dealing with jhana are explained, commentated. In those commentaries, yes.
They may not be available in English.
That is another problem. Then, therefore, I don't have to mention that. One more thing available in English is Vimuttimagga, the path of liberation. So, the questioner asked me whether I am using Visuddhimagga or Sutta Pitaka. My teaching basically based on suttas, discourses. Very little information I get from Visuddhimagga. Not I don't have respect for Visuddhimagga. Visuddhimagga is this enormous amount of, source for any meditation practice. One would take at least 1 whole year to study Visuddhimagga and master it, and it takes 10 years to start the practice. I don't think people can wait that long because it gives so much details. So we have to summarize and bring them to our practice. I may be a little exaggerating regarding the length of time depending on individual's caliber. Some people may grasp it very quickly and practice quickly, I don't know. But for me, it took many, many years to study and to learn understand what Visuddhimagga explains. It's a beautiful, wonderful, good book. Please speak to Kasina practice and the breath as concentration device. Each one is superior. I cannot say which is superior, but as far as concentration is concerned, Kasinas are quite good. One only disadvantage is it is very cumbersome. It is difficult to be ready, available anytime we want, and finding a place and so forth. Therefore, Kasina as readily available objects of meditation would be a little inconvenient. How are the kasinas chosen? Kasinas are chosen according to the individual's temperaments. Some individuals like one kasina over the other, prefers one over the other. So the person has to decide according to the person's own taste. And I would not try to recommend one particular kasina according to people's temperaments and characters and so forth. That's not going to work. You know, only the Buddha was able to give a subject of meditation to people according to their temperaments. Not even Venerable Sariputta, the second one to the Buddha, was one of the two chief disciples. Then monks or meditators do healing. Do they use their power? The Tibetan monks are especially known for this. I think some people, whether they are monks or lay people, choose their very deep inner mental clarity and warm feeling, friendliness and so forth to heal others. These days there is one monk even in Sri Lanka. He once came to Washington. When he comes to wherever he goes, hundreds of people flocks around him to get healed, just like faith healers in anywhere. But normally, I must tell you, in the Buddha's teaching, especially in Theravada tradition, monastics are prohibited to do healing, to practice medicine. That is the Theravada tradition. But in Mahayana there is even one Buddha called Medicine Buddha, Bhaisajya Guru. They even made a Buddha who gives you healing, who transmits the healing power to you so that you can use it. That is a special. They say it is because of, out of compassion, you must do something for people. So you go out and heal. And in the Theravada tradition, it is prohibited because you are supposed to do selfless service. When you do medicine and so forth, people will not go away without paying you something. So you eventually end up as as doing a profession for money. So you lose all your original purpose and intention. For this reason, because there's a possibility of getting corrupted, and to avoid that, Buddha prohibited monks or nuns to practice medicine. Can they see the future? I hear of using concentration in the wrong way. Yes, actually reading future, reading past, and fortune telling, all these things are prohibited. I'm trying to rush through all this very quickly, okay? Since fourth jhana is so beneficial, I should its attainment be the focus of practice, or is that setting one's hopes too high? No, actually it is not something that you should not strive. You should strive for attaining fourth jhana, and that's a wonderful attainment, but you don't rush. Have patience, do it very slowly, one at a time, and master it. When you master it, when you have full confidence, full faith, full strength of jhana in your mind, you try the next, and that way you won't break your neck. You slowly will attain it and enjoy it. Okay, what is the significance of bright light, if any, waves, clouds, closed? Simplest solution is passing. This is another for your skill. The feeling khanda, do they mean bodily feelings, emotional feelings, or both? When we use the word feeling in English as a translation of Pali word, we mean both emotional as well as sensation. Because in Pali word, there's only one word, that is Vedana. Vedana means that which we feel. So it can be emotional, it can be physical. What is the difference between perceptions, cognitions, and mental formations? Perception, mental formations are distinct in that perception is just perceiving. It's a superficial cognition, cognitive factor, cognitive force of the mind is perception, as I mentioned earlier. In English, you use the word perception for all kind of jargon of thinking. People say, that is your perception. That means that is the way you think. That is the way you understand. That way you use your way of looking at things and so forth. But that is not the meaning in Pali. Perception means the word, although we use the word perception, it simply means cognition or recognition, superficial knowing of the object. Formations are thoughts. And these are two khandas, two the aggregates, or the 5 aggregates. Perception is one aggregate, thoughts are another aggregate. In fact, somebody also suggested us to have another retreat on the 5 aggregates, since it is so complicated. Why is one not supposed to talk about one's jhana, attainments? You know, when we talk about one's own attainment, it may amount to be bragging about one's own success. It might impress others that you are very good, successful meditator and so forth. It is because of boosting your ego. And sometimes when we talk about it, we may not perhaps be able to express our experience exactly as they are. We may sometimes exaggerate, and so that we can mislead other people. And also to be very humble about it. It's best not to discuss these things. And for monastic, it is extremely, especially for highly ordained monastic, it is extremely serious business discussing their spiritual attainments with anybody, because sometimes mind can even be deceptive. One might not actually know whether one has really attained it or not. So it is very dangerous. Okay, and I don't mean that in a way of bragging, you use the word, but as a way of discussion, learning, and perhaps helping others. In situations where people, meditators who meditate for long period of time, they can discuss. That's perfectly all right. But what I mean is telling non-meditators about their attainment of jhanas. Could you go into clear comprehension again and each of its factors? You know, clear comprehension also very vast subject by itself, so I don't think I should spend a lot of time. I can mention only the 4 by name. Clear comprehension of the purpose, that means why we practice meditation. Why? That's the purpose. We must ask the question. We meditate to cleanse our mind, to overcome grief, sorrow, lamentation, pain, and so forth. We meditate to tread the path. We meditate to attain liberation. So this is the purpose. Then second clear comprehension is suitability. We must ask, is this subject suitable for attaining that purpose, that goal? We must ask that question. Third is clear comprehension of the domain. Domain means the field, the subject. Our domain of meditation is the 4 foundations of mindfulness, of 5 aggregates. These are our domains. These are the material that we use. And a clear comprehension of the non-delusion is we have to have a doubtless, clear vision, understanding of why we do what we do. That is clear comprehension of the non-delusion. Would you recommend trying to read jhanas out of the retreat during daily sitting morning and evening, or to stay with metta and try jhana at the next retreat? I would suggest, I would encourage people to practice metta and practice jhana anytime they like. If you have attained jhana now during this retreat, when you go home, meditate even for 1 hour. you can attain jhana. And it is wonderful practice. You use your metta as a subject of jhana meditation, or use your breath as a subject of jhana meditation. Don't wait until the next retreat. That is too long, unless you go to another retreat just after this, which most unlikely that people would do. And therefore it is good to keep up with the practice. Can I teach others metta, or it should be taught by a qualified teacher? I think you can teach metta to anybody as much as you know. For instance, you can teach children. You may not be very highly advanced metta teacher, meditation teacher, but you are much better, you know better than children. Sometimes you can teach children how to practice metta even more easily, because they are so tender, so receptive, and easy to teach them metta. I think some children are naturally very kind, very compassionate, very friendly. Since children they become friendly with anything and anybody very quickly, and therefore it is very easy to teach them metta. Therefore you can start teaching them. Don't wait until you are fully qualified to teach metta. We have sat long hours during this retreat. Does jhana require long hours on the cushion every day? I think that depends on a person's concentration. Some people can gain concentration very quickly if they have done, trying to attain jhana is a test of your previous meditation experience. If you have done meditation in the past, in the previous life, it comes to you naturally, easily, quickly. And therefore some of you might not need to sit long hours. You may get it very quickly. Some others may need little long hours, like here. So that all depends. So I should not, there's no any particular cut and dry rules and regulations with regard to the length of time you sit. Is it reasonable for a lay person to adopt this practice and to expect to attain higher jhanas? It is advisable. I don't see any reason why lay people should not practice jhana. They all should try. But they all must fulfill the qualification. If you are not qualified, perhaps you yourself may find it difficult. Here is another question. How does practicing jhana help make one a kinder, more compassionate person? Because of the impact of jhana remains in you even after attainment of jhana. Even if, sometimes as unenlightened person you might get upset, lose your temper, irritated and so forth. But you don't keep it. You can immediately, because of the impact of jhana is still in your mind, it will come to rescue you from your getting carried away with emotions. And therefore it certainly helps you to deal with your daily emotional situation. It's a wonderful practice. Do it by all means. Repeat the instructions for the first jhana. I said you start with metta and practice metta for you until you feel friendly towards yourself. You must be friendly to you, and then expand it to your parents, teachers, relatives, friends, indifferent persons, hostile persons, and all living beings. And then send your metta to all 10 directions. Send your metta to all beings. And then forget the beings. And begin to think of just the concept of metta. And then begin to feel metta in you. That time, if you want to stay with metta, you stay with metta. At that time your hindrances are suppressed, you feel very calm and peaceful, and then these 3 initial thoughts arise in addition to metta. Compassion, generosity will arise, and then it remains, these 3 thoughts remains in you steadily, and then you will have confidence in yourself, in the practice, in the method, in your achievement, confidence, and then you have joy or rapture. When it grows, it turns into happiness. Then you will have this tiny little spark of light that represent our luminous mind. As Buddha said, our mind is luminous. This tiny little spark represents the luminous mind. That moment you gain concentration. That is the first jhanic attainment. On the other hand, when you have metta, sufficient metta, and if it is not strong enough to relax your body, relax your mind to gain jhana, switch on to breath. When you focus mind on the breath, first you will feel the long inhaling, long exhaling, short inhaling, short exhaling, and then you feel the entire breath body, beginning, middle and end of breath, each inhaling and each exhaling. And then you will have a relaxed breath, relaxed body, and then you will have sleepiness and drowsiness and so forth, hindrances, and you will learn to overcome these hindrances one by one. Once the hindrances are gone, your body is relaxed, mind is relaxed, initial application of thought arises, and then you have a confidence. Having gone through the whole process up to that point, you definitely can see the results. Out of the results arises confidence, and then arise joy, happiness and concentration. If thoughts arise and you notice them, is it correct to drop them and refocus on the breath? Yes. You drop them and refocus on the breath. In the second jhana, how is vipassana practice? How to? When you have second jhana, you can practice vipassana in 2 ways. Even first jhana, you can practice vipassana in 2 ways. One is you reflect upon jhanic factors, seeing each factor, they are all mentally created, all these jhanic factors, mentally created. And that which is mentally created is impermanent, unsatisfactory and selfless. You see impermanence, unsatisfactoriness, selflessness, so jhanic factors. That's one way. The other way is using that concentration, that jhanic concentration, whether it is the first, second, third or fourth. Use that concentration to focus the mind on the 5 aggregates: body, feeling, perception, thoughts and consciousness. In these 2 ways you can use jhana to practice vipassana. In the 4th jhana, what are the characteristics or signs or the three different levels, you mean three different level, first level, second level, and superlative level. What you call positive, comparative, superlative degrees of the attainment of these jhanas. So the sign of the attainment of the first level of fourth jhana is you feel that it is not actually very steady. You will lose it just like any other jhana. You will lose it, and the frequency of loss of the first jhana determines which level you are. If you lose it very frequently, very often, quickly, then you are in the first level. As you keep practicing it over and over and over again, it becomes strong, steady. Then the duration is longer than the first one. Then you are in the second level. When you repeat it again and again and again, and duration is the longest you can stay in that level even for 1 hour, 2 hours, then you are in the third or the highest level of the fourth jhana. Each jhana, you know the level of your attainment. In the first level, you lose it very quickly. Second level, you can stay a little longer. Third level, you can stay as long as you wish, so long as your body sustains you. Another question. What was your citation for the for the length of mind moments? That is length of mind moment. Actually, you don't find in any discourse, any sutta, original sutras. The length of mind moment is mentioned only in Abhidhamma and in Visuddhimagga, in the commentary, Buddhaghosa's commentary. In the sutras, we don't find the length of mind moments. Are the supramundane accomplishments, what the Mahayanists call siddhi, and should they be kept secret? Supramundane is, we don't call it siddhi. Siddha, Vidyadhara is supernatural attainments, but they are not corresponding with the supramundane attainment. Supernatural attainment is one thing, supramundane attainment is another. Supernatural is, it simply means it is just beyond natural state. Supramundane is not just supernatural, it goes beyond mundane level. Supernatural can be created, it can be like magic. Magic can be supernatural because it is not natural. It's a trick. You can mesmerize people. Siddhi is like that. But supramundane is everybody can go beyond mundane level and liberate oneself from all mundane problems, greed, hatred and delusion and so forth. By attaining supernatural powers, you cannot destroy your defilements. You rather reinforce your defilements when we have supernatural powers. But supramundane powers make you humble and simple, and all your defilements will be destroyed. Somebody who has both supramundane attainment and supernatural powers will never abuse supernatural powers. Somebody who has not attained supramundane level and just attained supernatural powers can abuse the powers, because that attainment does not destroy defilements. Okay. Could you explain how one contemplates impermanence in fourth jhana without conception? Isn't a visual image a concept? I think I tried to explain it yesterday and day before a little bit, that when you are in the fourth jhanic level, your concentration is extremely powerful, and you have all other mental factors like attention, mindfulness, clear comprehension, and equanimity and all these things, and therefore you won't fall into any kind of emotion, any kind of thinking, but your attention will direct the concentration on the body, for instance. Body is not a concept. Body is not a word. When you focus the mind on the body, that concentrated mind can penetrate the body, penetrate into the various aspects of the body and see them functioning exactly as they are. And they are not mental images, not words, not concepts, but reality that is going on. The dynamism or dynamic force of the body, you can, with the concentrated mind, you can see. And it is not a concept. We go, even a concept is broken into minute parts with this concentrated mind. And it is not just visualizing and all imagination visualizing, yes, will be ceased at that level. I think I got an indication from somebody that we must stop here, and I don't think we should proceed with this for now, and we start tomorrow morning just before closing. There are when this kind of discussion is over, you may say sadhu sadhu heartily.